Since I'm speaking with one of the most brilliant political minds on the planet from the UK at the moment, I have to let you know that I've started the recording, and that if you don't wish to be recorded now would be an opportune time to drop off, Mr. GDPR. Patrick here is firmly convinced that Trump is hanging on by a thread for the next election and will be lucky to be reelected.
What I said, wait. If you're going to do that, then you characterize it correctly, which is I said he's going to lose where before he was going to win, meaning it was his to lose, and he's been doing enough lately to basically catch blame, which is really all most people do. They don't vote for someone, they vote against someone. But go ahead, continue.
So in light of what we saw with the Republican seats being regained in California for the first time in decades.
Again, you're talking about incumbents, which is what I said the problem was. The problem was going to be a flip. If you were an incumbent in this particular election, you will be associated with the blame, with COVID, with all the stuff that's been going on that's been negatively impacting in the press. So the answer, unfortunately, is that at some point, if you are an incumbent, okay. All right. you will catch blame, which is what I said before. Trump was an outsider. He was not an incumbent. He had that going for him, the same way that Obama did when he ran the first time. The point is to get elected on a second term, whether it's a president, whether it's anything else. You have to show that you've earned or deserved the function. The problem, unfortunately, in this particular setting is I think the Republicans are going to have a hard time keeping the Senate. I think the House is going to flip-flop it's literally a crapshoot as to how that goes. And it wouldn't surprise me to see everything flip the exact opposite.
All right. So excellent comments. One of the key questions that I have for you about the Mike Garcia race specifically, this was the first admitted adoption of methodology known as ballot harvesting by the Republicans.
Yes. Theoretically, but honestly, I think all this is just flapping lips.
Well, yes and no, because people with R's after their names in public arenas have said, we won this election because we ballot harvested, and it's illegal in 49 of the 50 states, but if we got to do it there, we got to do it there. So curious as to whether or not you think that actually did make the difference, the ballot harvesting in California. And then the real question I have is based upon your incumbent point of view, what does it look like for the 4th district in Pennsylvania?
Well, it's an unusual set of occurrences, and I'll tell you why with the 4th in particular. When the Russia probe was going on and the impeachment process was going on, at least before it started, your particular incumbent was extremely vocal locally as well as on a national stage. In fact, she was one of the people that they were throwing out there as far as going on the different shows and the pundits and the rest of it. So she was getting a lot of press. Then magically after the process started, as well as this one, as well as the stuff that's happened with Trump relative to COVID, Miss Dean has been extremely, and if in fact I would categorize her current position as subterranean. Have you heard anything from her at all in 8 months?
No.
Okay. So again, I think because she's taking a position of I'm not getting involved and I'm going to dive deep and pretend it doesn't exist, she's not getting associated with the bad press as the rest of the other, I'll call them knucklehead crew is, whether that's Mitch McConnell or Nadler, or you follow my point.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that I think she's actually running for election without running for election, meaning she's distancing herself from everything newsworthy, specifically so that she's not associated with any of the negative impact that's going to be transferred relative to that particular position. Sorry, try the question.
The question I was starting to lead into, I'm waiting for the primary before I really pay any attention to what anybody's established positions are. But I am curious if you've seen anything from any of the challenger. You haven't seen anything from Dean, but have you seen anything from Kathy?
No, that's the whole point, is that literally there has been, and I've been checking, I've been trying to check. Obviously, the problem when you're in the middle of a national pandemic, and one that literally is rolling across the fourth as well as other areas as far as exposure goes, that's what's been playing. So the answer is that even though we're in an election cycle, the likelihood of that really catching wind before August or sooner is, I'm guessing, pretty negligible, because the news cycles continually keep talking about a single subject, which everybody is honestly getting tired of hearing about, because either we're going to be impacted or we're not. Either we've got things in the pipeline to fix what's being done or we don't. The answer is that it's 24/7 COVID, 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 COVID. Not that that's not an essential an essential part of the functional plan.
The basic fundamental existence right now. Yes, I get
yeah,
that. Go ahead.
But the realistic answer is that nobody else is really getting any kind of press, and nobody else is trying to show that they're running during a pandemic.
Yep.
The only person that's literally running for election overtly
is Joe Biden.
Is Biden and the president. They're both obviously doing different stances, but they also have a national platform. They're not specific to an area.
Yep, agreed. I have an awareness that there is an elevated number of sealed indictments in federal courts across the land. It's
one of the strangest occurrences in modern times, but yes, go ahead.
All right. So I have been waiting for those to come out, and I knew that there was going to have to be an impeachment trial before that could happen, and then right on the heels of the impeachment trial came this COVID nonsense, right? So at this point, I'm seeing a delayed rolling out of these that's now beginning, in my opinion, with the stuff that's happening with Flynn and with the Obamagate tweets that came out from Trump.
Some of this stuff is obviously political posturing, because there is no Obamagate, because Obama, whether he did or didn't have any.
So hang on a second. So let's just take, because we only have a couple minutes here, and then I have to run. But what do you think is Obamagate? You say there is no Obamagate, so let's just take 30 seconds and define what we think Obamagate might be.
Well, what they're alluding to, because they won't say it in public aspect, is the fact that Flynn, in particular, was set up by the Justice Department before the outgoing executive branch and that particular function left, meaning from the election in November, and while the election was going on, meaning before Trump actually got in. So part of the election process, Flynn was part of the cadre of advisors to the president. He was then targeted relative to information that was gotten by people in the Justice Department, in the FBI, in the different functions, specifically by the executive branch, and then directed to basically follow up and entrap him. That's Obamagate.
Okay. That's not Obamagate. That's
what they're espousing.
No. So before we go any further with that, tell me who you think they is.